best debates get hot, boy. I am so many fresh. I talk cash money like I'm Birdman. Tackle topic straight on, no swerving. All facts is what I'm serving. No one's better or more deserving than me. I bring that heat like Miami on a whole nother level like Otani. I prove points by helping you visualize, using data that's analyzed by eagle eyes. Get your mind right and act like you know. You are now tuned into the Real Untouchable podcast.
Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast, man. I had to get this right here episode in. I will be giving y'all my pick'ems. Hey, yes, this right here is my top 25 predictions for this weekend, week 5 of college football. So it's gonna be a hell of a week, y'all. Y'all know what week it is. It's Alabama versus Georgia. This right here is the showdown that we've been waiting a long time for. But before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. And make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. But listen, I wanted to go ahead and get this episode done because it's Georgia week. It's Georgia-Alabama week. Okay, but I'm going to talk about the top 25. I'm going to start at the 25th game, the number 25 team in the nation, as these teams right here would get ready for another great week of college football, which is week 5. We're getting closer to the Real Untouchable podcast. We the first the first college football playoff rankings will be coming out in the next 3 weeks. So, man, this season right here is really going by fast. And the teams at the top, we pretty much knew they was there. They knew they was going to be there, the Alabama, Georgia, the Ohio States, the teams like that right there. But some teams has pretty much surprised us. All right, it's some teams that's really pretty much surprised us. And one of them is the number 25 team, which is Boise State. Boise State will play against Washington State. I'm going with Boise State in that high-octane run game that they got. I think that they'll pull it off with the run game that they have. I think they'll run Washington State, keep Washington State's offense off the field, and that's how I think the 25th team will escape at home against Washington State. We got Texas A&M versus Arkansas. Arkansas going down there to Texas A&M. It's going to be a hard game for the Hogs. The Hogs won't be able to make a lot of mistakes that they've been making these last few weeks. Last week against Auburn, it was pretty much a turnover fest. I wanted to see who was going to make the more turnovers, all right? And in the end, Arkansas escaped with a win against a very hungry, a very, real, supposed to be a very talented Auburn team. I just don't know this weekend against Texas A&M. I'm going with the upset. I got to ride with the Arkansas Razorbacks, even though in my heart, I feel like Texas A&M is just going to be too much in that stadium for this Arkansas Razorback team. Taylor Green, I think Texas A&M will force him to make 2 or 3 turnovers. And I think ultimately that right there probably will decide this game. Also, Jackson, he pretty much have an injury that he's been battling. So I just don't know, man. This game right here, I'm going to go with Arkansas to win against my better judgment. I'm going to ride with the Hogs to win this game, but I can see Texas A&M winning this game easy. All right, we got Kansas State versus Oklahoma State. Both of these teams right here coming off of huge losses last week. Kansas State was blown away. I think Kansas State gets the job done this week at home. I'm going with Kansas State to beat Oklahoma State only because I think Kansas State played one of their most terrible games last week, and I think that they'll get it together this week at home. In the next 3 weeks, they'll be playing against Colorado. So I think they really needs to get it together this week. So I'm going to go with Kansas State to beat Oklahoma State. Okay, and the number 22 team, BYU at Baylor. I think Baylor going to still be sleepwalking from last week's horrible loss. Oh, my God. That was a meltdown. That was one of the biggest meltdowns you would see in college football. I think that they're going to still be trying to recover from that meltdown. And I think BYU will come in there and silence their crowd early and end up winning this game easily against the Baylor Bears. I'm going with BYU. We got Oklahoma at Auburn. Same thing I feel about this game right here. Oklahoma coming off a loss. Auburn coming off a loss. This almost feels like a must win for both of these teams. This right here almost feel like both of these teams needs this win. I think that Oklahoma, with their new quarterback, will get the job done. I think they'll go down there to Auburn and do just enough because they got a really good defense and they got just enough offense. I just don't know about Auburn's offense. I just don't know about Thorne. I don't know about you know, I just don't know about their offense. I don't know if they can cook up 28 points to beat this Oklahoma team. Because guess what? Oklahoma played good last week against Tennessee. But Tennessee just that good. But I think that Oklahoma will go down there to Auburn, and with their new quarterback, I think they will get a win. I think Oklahoma will get back into winning ways as they get ready to head into the Red River Shootout against Texas in a couple weeks. I'm going with Oklahoma at Auburn, and okay, the number 19 team Illinois at number 9 Penn State. Man, I've been going against Illinois for the last 3 weeks. I've been saying that this team right here has surprised me for the last 3 weeks. They've been pretty much telling me, hey, you need to go with us. You need to get on this Illinois fighting alumni train, man. But I still cannot get on this train. And the only reason why I'm going against them this week is because I think the emotions of last week's game, I just don't know if they can carry that type of emotion into this Penn State game. Penn State whiteout. Happy Valley. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere. I just don't know if Illinois can pretty much carry what they carried last week into Happy Valley against this Penn State team. I'm going with Penn State to win that game. All right. We got number 18, Iowa State at Houston. I'm going to go with Iowa State in that game. I think Iowa State can go down there to Houston and win a big Big 12 game. And I think, even though I think Houston is a really good team, I think Houston offense can explode at any time. I just don't know if they're going to be able to put up the points that's needed against a really, really tough Iowa State's defense. And I'm going to go with Iowa State. We got Clemson versus Stanford. Yeah, I know Stanford won last week, but I'm going to go with Clemson in this. I'm going to ride with Clemson. I'm going to ride with the Clemson Tigers. I think they find themselves a quarterback. I think that they pretty much know that. I feel like their identity now, they've pretty much established their identity. After that LSU beatdown, after that beatdown the first game of the season, I think that they pretty much, Georgia beatdown, they was destroyed by Georgia the first game of the season. I think now they have pretty much, recognized what their identity is. And that's why I think that they will win this game this week. I think that they'll win this game. I don't think it's going to be too close. I think that maybe 14 points, is a comfortable, win for them, for this Clemson team at home. I'm going to go with Clemson to beat Stanford by 14 points in this game. We got Notre Dame, number 16 Notre Dame versus number 15 Louisville. This right here is one of my pick'em games. This right here is one of my big games of the week. Now, we got Notre Dame playing at home, but Louisville is a really good team. Can Notre Dame get that win that they really need? They need to win this game. They really, really, really need to win this game. And I think they will. I think Notre Dame will pull it off. I think they'll get the win against Louisville. Even though Louisville is a very tough team, I expect Notre Dame to do what they should have done the second game of the year in which they lost. But I think this game right here, a top 25 game, I think they pretty much solidify themselves as one of the better teams in college football. If Notre Dame loses this game, they will be eliminated from the college football playoff consideration, because I just don't think that they're going to be able to cook up enough wins against these other teams to pretty much put themselves back in the college football playoff rankings, to probably get themselves in the college football playoffs. So if they lose this game, they will be eliminated. Promise you. That's why I don't think they'll lose this game. I think that they got the quarterback. He's hurt. I think they'll do just enough to beat a very tough Louisville team. So I'm gonna go with Notre Dame to beat Louisville. We got number 14 LSU versus South Alabama. This right should be a really easy game for LSU. LSU should come in and win this game. They should be able to cover wherever the points is. They should be able to cover that point spread. I expect them to win that game big. You got number 13 USC versus Wisconsin. Now USC will be traveling to Wisconsin. I think that's going to be a hard game for them. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to be a difficult game. But I expect for USC to try to bounce back from last week's meltdown against Michigan, which the game that they had the game won. But tackling, I expect for USC to come back and bounce back and get their first Big Ten win against Wisconsin this weekend. I'm going with USC. We got number 12 Michigan versus Minnesota. Now this game right here is a tricky game. I don't know if Michigan can do what they did last week and win a big game against a team like Ohio State, but I think they'll win this game. I think they'll pretty much be able to cook up enough points to win this game right here with their talented running game, with their running back, their quarterback. I think they'll probably run the ball probably 60 times, 40 to 60 times, and that's how I think that they will end up winning this game right here. So I'm gonna go with Michigan to win this game against Minnesota. Now number 10 Utah versus Arizona. That's gonna be a hell of a game right there too. But I think Utah. I said this right here before. Utah might be the best team in the Big 12. I know that they're the most physical team. Now I'm thinking that they might be the best team in the Big 12. I'm expecting for them to win this game. I think Utah is a talented team. Cam Rising has been out. I expect for him to be back. If he's back, it will be a comfortable win. Even though Arizona is a really tough team, a really good hard-nosed offense, a very explosive offense, with probably the best wide receiver in all of college football, McMillan. But I just don't know if he's going to be enough to escape and beat this Utah team. So I'm going to go with Utah to win this game. All right, we got Oregon, number 8 Oregon at UCLA. I think Oregon is going to walk into UCLA and dominate them. I think UCLA is a mess right now. First of all, they lost their head coach, so they pretty much, at the beginning, before this thing even started, they was already a mess. Losing your head coach, that's hard. Now they got to face against a very explosive Oregon team. Oregon hadn't looked good all season. I expect for them right there to walk into UCLA and finally start putting it together. Because y'all got to think about it. In the next couple of weeks, we get Oregon versus Ohio State. So I think that this is the time right now for this Oregon team to finally start looking like the Oregon team that we thought they would look at the beginning of the year. They had 3 close games, 1 game or 2 games they should have lost. But guess what? They're undefeated, and I expect them to walk into UCLA. UCLA is a walking mess right now, and I expect them to do what we expected them to do those first games, and that's put up a bunch of points and dominate UCLA. Miami, I was gonna pick Miami to win against Virginia Tech. They played tonight. Now it was a very controversial game. A lot of people saying that was a touchdown on the Hail Mary. Listen, the referees have been horrible in all sports. High school football, college football, NFL, all sports, the referees has been horrible. So tonight didn't surprise me. Miami won the game, 38-34. I told my boy, I said, listen, if they was down by 10 points, Cam Ward, the Heisman front runner, 4 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on with his leg. He pretty much did what people been expecting him to do. This Miami Hurricanes team, y'all, I'm telling y'all, this team right here, they need to pray to God for tonight's game. They escaped by the grit of their teeth tonight. And guess what? I'm looking at this team in the next few weeks. They play SMU, I think, next week. Then they play against Louisville. That's going to be another hard game. But me looking at this team, this Miami team, this right here is the one team that can run the table and get to the college football playoff easily. Because first of all, the ACC is not that good. That's the first thing. Second of all, they probably got the best quarterback in college football, Cam Ward. And see, that's why I said at the beginning of the year, Ohio State should have tried whatever it took for this quarterback, Cam Ward. Because if you get this kid, Cam Ward, you is pretty much in the driver's seat for everybody. You are the best team easily in college football. With them running backs, those wide receivers, and with that quarterback, with that guy, Ohio State would have easily been the best team in college football because Cam Ward is the best quarterback in college football. And he showed it again tonight with over 350-yard pass, 4 touchdowns, another 50-yard rushing with another touchdown with his leg. He made a Houdini play. They pretty much hit him. He bounced off. They got him, and he somehow get the ball out to his tight end, and he pretty much get down to the goal line. That's the type of play that Cam Ward has been doing all year. And that is why I tell people that this kid is the best quarterback in college football, because of those type of things. That's what I expect for Jalen Milroe to do. But that's why I say Miami could easily get into the playoff, because they got that guy back there at the quarterback position. Okay, we got Ole Miss versus Kentucky. I'm going with Ole Miss. I expect for Ole Miss to come out there, and I expect for them to do what they've been doing. I expect for Lane Kiffin to unleash the dogs, unleash that offense, let them explode, let them dominate. And I expect for that's what Ole Miss will do against Kentucky. Whatever the point spread is, I expect for Ole Miss to cover it. Their offense is just too good. The same thing I said about Tennessee is the same thing I feel about Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a very explosive offense, just like Tennessee. The only difference is Tennessee got a really good defense as well. All right. And speaking of Tennessee, Tennessee got a bye week this week. Okay, we got number 3 Ohio State at Michigan State. Pretty much the same thing that we've been talking about all year. Ohio State playing against another trash team, another bum team. They haven't played a legit team all season. And that's why I don't understand why people can say that they are the best team in college football. How can you measure them? Georgia easily the best team, or Texas, because they've been battle tested. Texas went to Michigan and beat them. We got Georgia played against a Clemson team that's really, really good. Now as you see Clemson right now, Clemson is proving to be a really, really good team now. Then Georgia getting ready to go on the road tomorrow to T-Town. So we've seen these teams right here play against good teams. We just ain't seen that from Ohio State. And tomorrow we won't see it again. I expect for them, whatever the point spread is, I expect for them to cover that point spread. Whatever it is, I'm expecting for Ohio State to beat Michigan easily tomorrow. Okay? And we got number 1 Texas versus Mississippi State. This Texas team is just too good. I expect for them to go in there and beat the brakes off of Mississippi State. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Mississippi State would have been a really good team. But like I said, they lost Mike Leach, the head coach, passing away last year. This team is really still battling that loss. That was a huge loss. That was a huge loss. Leach was one of the most offensive-minded head coaches in college football. He was one of those head coaches that can get guns up. When he was at Texas Tech, they was explosive. Same thing when he came down to the Mississippi State. Now they've lost him. They have lost their identity. They have to find their identity. What's the first way how you can find your identity? Is by finding yourself your own head coach. You need a head coach that's going to come in and not run Leach's offense, not run the air raid offense. They're going to have to come in and create their own identity. What will be their identity? What's going to be their, what kind of offense do they want to run? And I think that's what they're going to have to do for Mississippi State. But I expect for Texas to go in there tomorrow. Arch Manning, if he's starting at quarterback, I expect for Arch Manning to put up a monster game. Game should be over with by second quarter, maybe third quarter max. They should be up by 30, 40 points, and they should cruise to another win as they get prepared to face this Oklahoma team in the Red River Shootout in a couple of weeks. But I expect for them to win this game, and I expect for them to win this game easy. In the game of the week, y'all. The game of the week, we got Georgia traveling to T-Town, traveling to Tuscaloosa to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. This right here will be Kirby Smart's first game against Keelan DeBoer. Yes, not Nick Saban, but Keelan DeBoer. This right here going to be a really good game, y'all. I think this right here is going to be a chess match. I expect for Georgia and Alabama to trade blows early. I expect for this right here to be a heavyweight showdown. But in the end, I expect for Alabama to somehow, some way, pull off this win. I know Georgia's good. I like Georgia. Georgia's a hell of a team. But I expect for Alabama at T-Town in Tuscaloosa to somehow pull this game off. Because the one thing that these two teams down, it's raining down there in Tuscaloosa that I'm hearing is raining. Who is it going to be affected the most by the rain? Will it be Alabama or will it be Georgia? I think it would be Georgia. And the reason why is because Georgia running backs, when you measure these two teams running back, I think that Alabama have the better running back. So when it's a rainy game, what do you want to do? It's going to affect the passing. So you probably going to have to depend on your line and your running back. And when I look at Alabama running backs and Georgia running backs, yeah, they got Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne is really, really good, but I just don't know is he big enough to run against that Alabama defense. Now, when I look at Georgia, when I look at Alabama, they got 2 3-headed monster back there at the running back position. And I just think that somehow, some way, that one of these running backs is going to break a long, maybe even 2 long. And I think that this right here, how this game right here would possibly end. And it could come down to the 2 quarterbacks, Carson Beck or Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is going to have, this is the game where Jalen Milroe can pretty much solidify himself as an NFL talent type of quarterback against a Georgia defense. This is the game. Think about it, y'all. Y'all remember now, when did people say that C.J. Stroud was that guy? When he went out there and he torched that Georgia defense, everybody was like, okay, C.J. Stroud, this dude can play. You see what I'm saying? That's right here what I'm going to say the same thing about Jalen Milroe. I expect now Jalen Milroe, this is the time where he can come out and solidify himself. Tomorrow he can solidify himself as a Heisman Trophy candidate and an NFL talent type of quarterback. And that's what I expect for him to do. I expect for Alabama to win. I expect for Alabama to win this game. And I expect for them to continue. Because people think that Keelan the boy can't coach. I think this right here is going to be a game where he pretty much put his name up there with the elite coaches in college football, like Kirby Smart, and him to solidify himself. Like, hey, this dude Keelan the boy. This dude is great. This dude is okay. That's why I think it's going to happen. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know what y'all think about my pick. Let me know what y'all think about this week in college football as week 5 of college football. This is going to be a hell of a week, y'all. So make sure y'all have a great weekend. Be safe. Make sure y'all do all the safety precaution, the safety measures, everything that y'all need to do to be successful. Make sure y'all continue to pray for the people down there in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, as Hurricane Helen has pretty much hit. There's people that that lost their lives. A lot of people lost energy, lights and everything. So make sure y'all understand, man, that we could be in that same situation right now. So make sure y'all say a prayer, donate a little bit to these people because they're going through a rough time right now. But until next time, y'all have a great Friday night high school football. Hey, I will be coming back again. We're gonna talk a little bit more about this Georgia Alabama game. As I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. I'm not gonna talk that long, so make sure y'all tune in. Hey.